Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I do want to speak about the Super League. It has been said and it is fully confirmed that the Super League is now approved. The EU court has basically said, yes, it is considered as illegal to ban this competition. You cannot do this, and in that way, the Super League can be created. And this is huge news for teams like FC Barcelona and Real Madrid. And so let's talk about that. Let's talk about what exactly this Super League is, what does it replace, what is going to be the format of this competition, and why is Barcelona and Real Madrid so keen on creating this competition? What pros does it give to these teams? How do we benefit off of this tournament, which is called the Super League? And I'm also going to be giving out my inputs on this whole thing. So it is going to be a very detailed video. So please pay very close attention to what we are going to be discussing, because it is going to be a very heavy video. So the Super League will be replacing the Champions League, not the domestic leagues. The Super League is basically being built to make room for the domestic leagues, meaning that it is not here to kick out the Premier League or La Liga or the German League or any of those domestic leagues. It is only here to replace the Champions League and nothing more. And so if we look at their website, created by A22, and I'm assuming also FC Barcelona and Real Madrid, the key word that they like to use is exciting. And that is going to be a keyword that I want all of us here to remember, because I want us to understand why A22 is so keen on trying to sell you the word exciting. So let's move on towards the first page, and it says here, creating the most exciting competition in the world. The best always strive to be better. The new European Super League aims to be the most exciting football competition in the world. So now let's move on towards page number 2. At the heart of our vision are 64 men's and 32 women's teams playing midweek in a league system across Europe, with competitive drama, decisive matches throughout the entire football season. So, like I've said, competitive drama and decisive matches, which does correlate towards the word exciting. That is what the Super League wants to sell, is exciting matches. They go on to talk about the principles that this competition is going to be having, and it revolves around 3 different principles. Principle number 1, the participation is based on sporting merit, meaning that anybody can leave and anybody can come out. We move on towards key point number 2, no permanent members, meaning that there's not going to be a single team in this competition that can stay there no matter what. Even if they lose every game, there can't be no way that that team could continue. Every team could find its way out. Barcelona can leave the Super League and Real Madrid can also leave the Super League. Let's move on towards point number 3. The participating clubs stay in their domestic leagues, which remain the foundation of European football, meaning that if teams like Liverpool, Man City, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Inter Milan, AC Milan, Arsenal, if any of these teams end up going into the Super League for the season, it does not mean that they have to exit their own domestic leagues. Again, like I've said, this is only to replace the Champions League and nothing more. Let's move on towards page number 3, the men's competition. And it states here that the men's proposal includes 64 clubs across 3 leagues. There's going to be 3 different tiers: the star tier, the gold tier, and the blue tier. The star and the gold leagues have 16 clubs each, while the blue league has 32 clubs. So the star league is going to be considered as the top tier level in the Super League. All clubs will play in groups of 8, home and away, resulting in a guaranteed minimum of 14 matches per year. So in the star league, there is going to be 2 groups of 8. In the gold league, there's also going to be 2 groups of 8. And then in the blue league, because there is going to be 32 clubs, there will be 4 groups of 8. And so once they all do play against each other within their own respective tiers, by the end of that season, there is going to be a knockout stage, and they are going to be taking the top 4 teams in every group to go into the quarterfinals. So for example, in the Star League, Barcelona is going to be there. If Barcelona end up being in first place within their group, they're going to go with the other 7 teams in that Star League to go on to the knockout round. Of course, there is also going to be annual promotion and relegation between the 3 leagues, with promotion into the blue league based upon domestic league performance. So there is promotion and relegation. You have to climb up the ladder. And they also wanted to compare how the European Super League is going to be like compared to the Champions League. And they talk about free viewing of all live matches, meaning that the Super League will be for free, while in the Champions League, we do have to pay a subscription, or you have to pay for certain channels. They also wanted to speak about the access based on sporting merit is being checked by A22, and the same thing with the Champions League. The home and away throughout competition is also going to be implemented during the Super League, but not in the Champions League. So as you can see here, there is a lot of differences between the Champions League and the Super League. So now let's move on towards the next phase. Now that we do have a general idea of how the Super League is going to be working, I want to talk about the recent backlash that has been pushed against this brand new draft of the competition. There are many fans that don't want this. There are also many clubs that deny the invitation of this competition. And the one thing that I do want to ask is this: this. Why deny a competition like this? Because one of the main problems that people had and that clubs had back in the summer of 2021 or in April 2021 is that the Super League was originally supposed to be closed. It was never supposed to be open. This format that we are seeing here today, it is open. Anybody can come in and anybody can come out. This competition is being presented as something that anybody could win. Literally anybody. It is not just Barcelona and Real Madrid. And just for you guys to have a general idea of what clubs have said no already to this brand new format, it is Chelsea, Manchester City, Tottenham, Roma, Dortmund, PSG, Bayern Munich, Manchester United, Atletico Madrid, Sevilla, and the list can go on and on. But here's the one thing that does get everybody confused. Previously, these exact same clubs that say no today did say yes back in 2021 when the competition was closed, meaning that no team could get into this competition. But now these clubs want to say no to a competition that is open? To me, it seems like these clubs are afraid. They're afraid to say yes to this competition even if it's open now because they're afraid to receive the backlash. They're afraid to receive the massive toxic energy from the public. They don't want to experience the exact same thing that they experienced back in April 2021. Because again, do you really think it makes sense for them to say yes to a closed league, but because they receive so much backlash, they're afraid to even say yes to an open league now? Now they're saying no. Now these clubs are saying we don't want to have anything to do with this. We're okay. We're fine. We don't need the Super League. But not too long ago, you wanted to say yes. You have already shown your true colors. These clubs have already shown their true intentions and what they actually want to do. Even the Super League CEO did state this during an interview a couple of hours ago, and I quote, "This latest Super League proposal has come to light with the contribution of many clubs. We have spoken with many clubs recently, but they are afraid to appear publicly because of the threats. Many clubs support this project." And so there are going to be leaders and there is also going to be followers. And I feel like these clubs that have already said no to this brand new draft of the Super League, they're going to eventually say yes. They're just waiting to see how all of this does play out and let the tensions of the Super League format just die out before they do join. So maybe they might say no for the next year, but the Super League is not going to be assembled until I think 2025. And I think that by then, those clubs will say, okay, we are willing to join. Like I said, there are leaders and there are followers. In this case, Barcelona and Real Madrid are the leaders while we have other clubs acting as followers when they don't even have to. And so I don't understand why there is backlash. Why say no? This brand new Super League format is basically built like the Champions League that we see today. And here's the crazy part about this whole thing. The Super League has no middlemen involved in the money that these teams do generate during matches. Let's say, for example, just to make everything very simple and for you guys to understand, what exactly is the problem with teams like Barcelona and Real Madrid being involved in the Champions League? Let's say Barcelona faced against Bayern Munich. It was amazing. The match was beautiful. Everybody was watching. It was like a 5-4 win between Barcelona and Bayern Munich. Let's say by the end of this match, it generated $5. But the Champions League, right, the people who work in the UCL, these middlemen who own this league, they say, we'll keep $3 of these $5 and we will give $1 each to both Bayern Munich and FC Barcelona. That, my friends, is the problem. That, my friends, is the reason why Joan Laporta and Florentino Perez are so persistent on creating the Super League and why they see these teams participating in the Champions League a problem, because they're taking away the money that these clubs do generate. So they want to cut out the middlemen and say, we're going to create something exactly like the Champions League, but there is going to be no middlemen. We own the league. The CEO of the Super League continued to say this, and I quote, "The Super League's revenue will go to the clubs. There will be a committee of clubs to decide how to distribute the income. Also, no team will need to leave their national league. The Super League is an alternative for the interweekly competitions. We will triple the revenue of small clubs compared to what UEFA does give them. Everything will be public so that there's transparency." So can you imagine the lower level teams like, let's say, Las Palmas, or teams from the Premier League like Southampton, Luton, Burnley, Sheffield United, or teams like Union Berlin, like all of these small teams listening to this and saying, wow, if we only go to the blue tier, we're going to be tripling our revenue. And those small teams could use a small boost in revenue. Why not? Why not give those lower level teams a few more millions to buy the players that they need? Everybody wins. And look, not only does Barcelona get to meet a team like Bayern Munich or Manchester United or City like every 6 to 7 years, which is something that is so unfortunate, right? Because we want to see this every season, but when they actually do, Barcelona receives pennies. They barely get anything for games like that. So can you imagine Barcelona not being able to get the most out of the best European competition in the world, supposedly, which is the Champions League, and then later on go into La Liga and they get restricted through financial fair play? That is why Barcelona and teams like Real Madrid are in horrible financial situations. Football is simply just not not fair anymore to these teams. And here's the most beautiful thing about this whole thing. Let's not even talk about the pros for these clubs. Let's talk about us. Let's talk about the fans. Let's talk about the people that actually matter and make this sport even happen and move. It is the fans. It is the young audience. It is the older audience. It is the males. It is the females. The people who watch football behind television. You know what's the most beautiful thing from all of this? The Super League is going to be for free. These matches between City versus Bayern, Barcelona versus Arsenal, Inter Milan versus Real Madrid, AC Milan versus Liverpool, these top tier premium matches will be seen for free. I don't know if you guys have really paid attention to how some people were asking for certain links to a game through Twitter or through Discord or through Instagram. They were asking, hey, can you find me a link to the game between Barcelona versus Arsenal or Barcelona versus Bayern Munich? You know how many people I have seen ask for a link for a game like that? Because it is so hard to find and because people are not willing to pay that amount of money to watch a game. Some people just simply don't have the money. And the Super League is basically saying that is okay. We'll make these games for free and all you have to do is go to our platform, click on the game that you do want, and that is it. That's all you have to do. I think that the Super League and what A22 is trying to create is something very similar to YouTube, where you don't have to pay for watching the videos on YouTube. All you have to do is get your internet, get your laptop or your iPhone, download the app or the streaming service or the platform or go to the website and then just click on the game that you want to watch and that's it. Maybe there could be a few ads here and there, very similar to YouTube and like what you guys see here before this video that you guys are watching. You know how like there's ads before the video or during the video? That is basically what I assume the platform is going to be like. It is for free, but there is going to be some ads. But that is much better than paying $10 to $12 for a streaming service or $6 for a streaming service or pay for a certain channel. Also, I assume that the Super League is also going to be aiming to engage the younger audience even more. Like I'm talking about the young men and women who are between the age range of 15 to 21 years old. Yes, there is such thing that does exist in terms of a sport dying, and that is, for example, baseball. Baseball at one point in history was at an all-time high. It was the most popular sport in the world about 20 years ago. Now, no one even speaks about baseball anymore. Everybody considers it as a boring sport. With football and the way that it is going right now, it is not looking good. Maybe in about 10 to 15 years, if things don't change, football might be seen as a very unpopular, boring sport. And Florentino Perez has already caught that. He caught this problem, which is why the Super League became an idea. And this is what Florentino Perez had to say back in April 2021. Young people say the game is too long. If young people don't watch an entire game, it is because it is not interesting enough, or we will have to shorten the games. He also claimed that 40% of young people are currently not even interested in football. When you don't have any income other than from television, you have to find a solution to make more attractive matches that fans all over the world can watch with all of the big clubs. Young people are no longer interested in football. They have other platforms on which to distract themselves. Hence, maybe he's talking about Netflix or some other platforms that these young people like to watch that has nothing to do with sports. And so again, Florentino saw this as a problem. He wants to make the sport great again. Joan Laporta wants to make the sport great again. Why do we have to wait 6 to 7 years to see Barcelona play against Man City again, or against Bayern Munich again, or against Inter Milan again, or against AC Milan, Arsenal, Liverpool, Juventus? Why do we have to wait so many years to see these games again? Why can it not be every season and make this game exciting again? So you see how like this competition also is really caring about the younger audience and the people in general. They want to give everybody a better experience. Everybody wins in this situation. The game becomes exciting again. Like look at what happened recently this season. As a matter of fact, no one saw Barcelona versus Antwerp. No one saw Barcelona versus Porto. No one saw Barcelona versus whoever. Like just these random games. Like even in the next game that Barcelona is going to be playing, which is against Napoli, it is still not considered as a top European team. And I'm not even trying to disrespect Napoli, but Barcelona have yet to play a real team in the Champions League this season. And that is what I mean. The sport is dying. The type of games that Barcelona has played so far, it did not bring any revenue. It did not bring any eyeballs. It's killing the sport. And many people want to still sit here today and say that they want to support the Champions League and that the Champions League is a lesser evil than the Super League? Really? What is the whole point of playing all of these meaningless games just for us to get into a potential injury? Like look at what happened between Spain and Georgia and Gavi. Gavi got an ACL injury that took him out for 9 months on a meaningless game. And the same thing is happening with Barcelona playing against these other teams that does not benefit Barcelona at all. And then there's always that potential of a player getting injured, only to find out that after we defeat Antwerp 1-0 or something like that, Pedri or Frankie gets injured and now we can't use him for the game against Atletico Madrid. That, my friends, is the problem. Like if these players are going to be getting injured, at least have these games generate excitement, generate revenue. So this project is for the people. It's for the clubs that we love. So I'm very pro Super League. And it also does not make any sense that we have to continue to go into these Champions League matches knowing that there are other teams in the Champions League that are owned by billionaires? Barcelona and Real Madrid are not owned by billionaires. They are owned by their fans or by the president. And now Barcelona and Real Madrid are only trying to find ways to make money on their own without trying to acquire a billionaire. These teams that have said no, you know why they feel so comfortable saying no is because their sugar daddy, their billionaires, those people from Saudi Arabia or whoever owns them can just say, yeah, we'll give you another 1 billion to spend this summer. That is the reason why they feel so comfortable saying no. But teams like Barcelona and Real Madrid are not willing to sell their souls. They're not willing to sell their own company to a random billionaire that does not even care about the sport. They're trying to figure out how can we improve our finances and at the same time benefit the fans around us and the football fans in general. You see how beautiful this thing is becoming? But people don't see that. Like I've said, there are leaders and there are followers. And Barcelona, Real Madrid, and other clubs are leading from the front. And it's a beautiful thing to hear that Barcelona are also going to be receiving 1 billion euros to cover the debts that they have and also maybe potentially make new signings. I don't know if the approval today accounts for the next transfer windows, and maybe it can go into effect in the summer of 2024 and Barcelona can sign the players that they do want and not have to be so financially restricted. And so that is it. Congratulations to Real Madrid. Congratulations to Barcelona. Congratulations to the owner of A22. I appreciate you guys' work and I appreciate the hard work that you guys put out to make the game great again. And at the same time, making sure the short-term problems are covered. Thank you guys so much for watching and I will see you guys in the next one.